Hello and good evening, feeders. Today is April 12th, 2022, and my name is DJ. Joining me today, as always, we have Feeder Finance Patrick. Pat, if you'd like to say hello to our lovely users at home.
Hey guys.
Hey, um, there's been quite a few ongoing things here at Feeder Finance, and one of the biggest things was the team going out to Eth Dubai. So, what exactly did the team go out there for? And what were some things that they learned going there? Any takeaways? I'll let you take the wheel on this one, Pat.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that. So so Jimmy and Paula went. They spent, I think, almost 3 weeks there.
Hmm.
Before the event, at the event, and after the event. And before the event, there were a lot of like these developer meetups that Jimmy attended, and mostly around East developers.
Okay.
So these guys, meeting up. Most of those guys were just, really core ETH developers, builders from stuff like Sushi, Yearn, 1inch, Tornado, um, and stuff like that. And we've got a lot of insights from their discussions. A lot of it, just confidential within their sort of thing. Just gossip around the industry.
Right.
You know, Gossips about things like Andre leaving because that was like um, and some people that knew or close to Andre and stuff like that. And since it's
Pretty
close
big.
discussion, I wouldn't want to. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they're big boys. And what we learned there is the ETH developers are really just super ETH maxis and decentralized maxis. Like
Hmm.
they're just there. They're just building to build. Um, Not really in support of things the way things are done mostly in BNB and stuff like that. They're just building decentralized protocols and the Andre vision, right? Just to build something that just lives on its own and that's what they're doing. A lot of them, build stuff, build multiple stuff, I guess is the right way to say it. So it's like, once they build something, they let it be and then they move on and they sort of sustain or maintain things on when the first project, and then they move on to build the second project. And they might find a way to sort of link the two projects. In most cases, they don't really um, say that the two projects are built by the same developers. That's the beauty of being Anon. And so you see like a lot of these partnerships and stuff like that. Many times it's really the same teams, just creating partnerships around their own projects. But that's just how it's done. Still at this stage. Um, so that was
Interesting.
that that's like the TLDR of the things we learned from the ETH type builders community. And we've kept a lot of contacts there. Jimmy made a lot of close contacts with people from the Eth Dubai developers, and that's when he helped out building the hackathon website for Eth Dubai. We got there then the free sort of banner up for that, and also there from that sort of help we got connected with the Grab protocol because that hackathon site used Grab protocol, and because Eth Dubai is big, and Jimmy def that so we there got to connect with the Grab protocol, which is also huge. So that's the Eth side of things. And then before the Eth Dubai event, there was also a Binance event, um,
Oh,
which Norman from the Hamster Lab um, got us in to the Binance event, and and we met some of the heads of departments from the BNB chain. So it's this is more focused on the BNB chain and not the Binance chain in particular. So we met, head of DeFi and head of GameFi and a lot of developers from the BNB chain. And I guess the key takeaway is that BNB is their focus is mostly about creating adoption, and the way they think about it is creating adoption based on things like GameFi and play to earn and stuff like that. And their goal is really to sell blocks, right?
Mhm.
Blockchain sell blocks, and that's I think that's where their head is. So what creates the most transactions? It's really I guess games, and so that's where their head is. And we got some feedback from their head of DeFi. So
Mhm.
they looked at our protocol or our DApp, and the feedback was that if we were built on Ethereum, would be perfect for Ethereum,
Mm.
because of how we're sort of how we positioned ourselves, as this really uh, sophisticated DeFi platform, but we're not positioned for the Binance or BNB Chain community or ecosystem, because um, predominantly the users on BNB are, I guess, not that sophisticated, or are not look if they. I guess the right way to put it is that if they're looking for something as sophisticated, they would be going to ETH. Um, and
Interesting.
on
Okay.
BNB, they're looking for something more simple and fun, I guess. And so and our take on that is that that's something we can't change, because at the time when we launched, there were two chains to choose from, BNB or ETH, and we can't afford the ETH gas at the time. It
Oh yeah,
was peaking, yeah, right. If you were around at the time, it was like $100 to swap.
it was ridiculous.
And Yeah, right. To launch contracts, that'd be thousands of dollars just to launch contracts. And so each vault cost thousands of dollars. And so if we've launched, you know, 200 vaults there, it would have been maybe 300, $500,000, whatever. Because when we launch one single vault, it doesn't mean we've launched one contract. Usually, if something goes wrong, we have to relaunch during our testing, right? We have to relaunch the contract. And so it usually takes one or two times, assuming nothing goes wrong. Um, so that was impossible for us to do. So we've launched on BNB, and we're a BNB native uh, token and platform. So our take from that coming back is, we just need to find a way to fit in with the ecosystem. So our team is now working on simplifying the platform UI somewhat, in a progressively. So we can't do everything at once. So we're I guess the front end on the invest page and maybe the home page is getting simplified right now with Pandit working on that. Um, and then we'll move on to other places. Um, we've and I can't go into the details of things, but there are some good ongoing discussions happening still from the Binance event,
Mhm.
and I guess there's nothing concrete, but there is some discussion still happening, because I guess we made a good impression, and developers are still rare, as we found there. It's still a small set of people that are really builders at Jimmy's level, because even for Binance Chain, building play to earn platforms isn't hard.
Right.
Building what we've built is really hard, especially when you consider all the APIs we have to link up and all the UI um, and the DEX aggregators, all these tools that we've built. It sort of shows the sophistication of our team, and that I guess that made an impression. And so we're still in discussion with them to see how we can fit in better.
Mm.
What they also want us to show is some form of loyalty, because it's a turf, right? Like if you want to get Binance support, you need to support Binance. You need to be loyal to Binance, and I guess that's true for all chains. And so being multi-chain, too multi-chain at our stage, not having a clear sort of chain, being chain agnostic, doesn't sit well with these guys. And so we're also with that discussion and with this ongoing discussion, we're trying to find a way and trying to move towards being more focused on Binance because I guess that's the only discussion we have
Mm,
um, when it comes to like just big boys direct discussion with the biggest boys um, representing those chains, right? And so that's the reason behind my sort of message around our shift to focus more on BNB, simplifying UI and stuff like that. And that is because we're in this sort of ongoing dialogue with BNB and there's nothing concrete. So I don't want to create like false hope or anything, but just to be aware that that's still going on. So that's something we do look forward to, and hopefully we can get something out of it. Um, and um, and aside from that, I guess we've made a lot of friends on the Binance event. To be honest, I think we made a lot more friends at the Binance event than at the ETH event, and maybe because we're not an ETH protocol.
right.
Um, the Binance event was pretty good for us. So we have Hansel Labs to thank for that, and so we met a lot of the GameFi people too, and a lot of them Vietnamese. Um, most of them from emerging markets that are building on BNB. We've actually also met some people that know of us, as in they're Feeder Finance users apparently,
Oh, wow.
who came up to us and they're introduced themselves. So it was nice. So that I think that's on Eth Dubai. So just to sum up, like we've met a lot of really cool builders. We've kept their contacts. We're reshifting, repositioning, um, designing our protocol to be more to support a discussion with Binance Chain, and hopefully something will come out of that. But there's no promises, but we'll do our best to um, I guess to make something out of it. And I
So,
think that's it on the Dubai trip. Yeah.
wow, lots of good stuff there. So on some things that are a little closer to home, um, some things that are more in the near future. A few things. We have the bridge aggregator, an upcoming NFT marketplace, the feed lottery's been released, and a lending upgrade. Where do you want to start here?
I think we can go down the list
Sure.
because everybody has that update, and so let's just start at the top. So we released the feed lottery. That was really unplanned, and with the feeder finance lab that we introduced in our roadmap, it was really uh, to allow us to just do things we could do quickly, or that we thought was just you know it was to give us that flexibility, and I guess an excuse for flexibility, right? Like that we could just do things on the fly and see if it sticks, because things like the lottery took us less than a week to do,
Hmm.
uh, and it didn't stop everything else. It was I guess it was just Jimmy doing that, and everything else that Pandit and Raphael are doing are still ongoing. So Jimmy just took a couple days doing the lottery, and that was a way for us to um, in our hopes there, seeing if it would attract some more BNB users, because I guess it's just super BNB type product, just
Right.
gamification of things, um, and hopefully get some more traction, because you know I guess it's just throw it in there and see if it sticks. And it would also be really fun for our users, as in our community, to have something to play around with. It's a feed consuming product. It has a 5% fee going to the staking pool, so it's just a week's work, and so we released that, and I hope you guys have fun and continue to have fun with it. I think we completed the first round already. I hope somebody won some prize some prizes from a lottery.
Yeah, so I actually have a
Um,
complaint about that. I bought 10 tickets and didn't get anything, so it's actually broken. You guys are gonna have to fix that for next week. It's okay, I'll give you some time,
well,
but
I actually bought 200 tickets.
oh,
You know,
okay. All right, settle down
well,
there, Pat.
I actually let me see here. So I won. Well, I've won a lot of prizes here. I think I've won like 20 first matches and maybe like I think three of the match four. So, well, it didn't pay back for my, 200 ticket investment, but it was pretty fun. And I think that if I mean the chances of you winning at least a one, um, I'd say it's 1 in 9, right? Because wait, yeah, wait, no, 1 in 10. So there's a 10% chance of you winning. So if you bought like 10 tickets, your
At least one
chances
winner.
are you'll win one.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And there were 108 winners for the match first one. Well, of course, you're splitting up $70, so it's not that much, but it's a game, right? And the good thing is it's mathematically sort of accumulating the prize pot.
Hmm.
Eventually, someone will win the big prize, but the math should work out that the prize pot is going to sort of continue to grow um, as people participate because that's how lotteries work, right? Like you just it basically continues to grow the price pot. Somebody will win a lot of money for very little investment, but it happens rare enough that you're not going to deplete it, and so it grows. And who knows? Like we could put some more feed in there to grow it some more if it's fun enough for people to play. But yeah, it's a week's work for something we could enjoy for a little bit on the platform. It's aligned with BNB sort of um, gamification of their ecosystem. And yeah, so that's the lottery. Um, and and I guess I can jump over down to lending because part of that was also to try to find a way to create some exposure for a platform um, for our sort of the lending launch.
Right.
And the reason is because so I actually you know so I we just with the team we discussed like going to influencers and getting them on board
Hmm.
um and there when we found two types of influencers. The first type of influencers are the ones that charge a couple of thousands and they just post stuff and they post only stuff that people pay for, and we've actually tried that before and they don't work because I guess they just pump their followers uh, that are organic, and they just find projects like us who are dumb enough to want to pay a couple thousand for a Twitter account that has 100,000 followers that are not really followers. And if they find enough dumb people like us doing that every day, they're making thousands a day, right? And that's good enough for them. And so we're not going to do that. So I went further and tried to look for the real big influencers who actually are influencers, and most of them don't accept paid promotions. The ones that do are taking 30 to 50K. Um,
Ooh.
some of those, yeah, some some of them all cash, some of them 20K, 30K cash, the rest in our tokens, whatever. But it's in that range, and it's a lot of money. And what that really means for us, if we were to go ahead, is, and this is before the event happening, yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, with the dump. So we at that price, we have, you know, over a year of runway for our developers.
Hmm.
And so if we were to get one influencers, 30 to 50K, we'd cut that by 3 to 6 months, depending on the price of feed, right?
Right.
And so the decision was, it was hard, but it was clear because if we pay an influencer and cut our runway by one fourth to a half, and the market being what it is right now, and it doesn't work, I, there is a risk that we're putting the project at risk of just running out of funds
Hmm.
and not and getting absolutely nothing out of it because it's hard. The probability of things not working out in terms of not getting the attraction given the market condition is high. Um, like it's probably hard to pump anything right now.
Oh my
Uh,
God, yeah.
right. And so I mean, the decision was clear. Like, right, we're not going to do it, and because we think, if we have a year, we have a chance of building something, improving things, and creating something that will create value. But if we bet the house on this launch and it doesn't work out, then then it's game, right, for everybody. And I don't think that makes sense for us to do that, and so we didn't. So that's the truth, I, without any icing on top. That's just how it is. Um,
Yeah, fair
so
enough.
yeah, yeah. So that's why we're that's also why, right? Let's spend a couple days, build this lottery thing, see if it helps create some exposure. If it doesn't, well, we've lost 3 days. That's fine. But we're trying our best here to create some traction for that. But regardless, we have this lending protocol, which is a powerful DeFi tool, that we hope at least you guys, and I hope more people will like and support. We're also building on top of the P2P, individual to individual sort of lending. Jimmy has completed the contract that makes it simpler, where a lender can create pools that lends out based on his terms. I think we spoke about that,
Yep.
and this would simplify lending our lending protocol quite a bit as well, because I think that's one of the problem with our current P2P. It's I mean, I love it, but I'm also like a super DeFi geek, and so I love that you can lend anything with anything and add your own tokens, get it verified by the team, um, set your own terms, do all. I love that, but um, especially with the feedback we got from BNB, right? Like that the sophisticated guys are on Ethereum, and
Right.
they're not looking for sophisticated stuff on BNB. So I think we just need to simplify the P2P lending quite a bit more, and that's why the upgrade will do that. So, and it's not going to change the existing stuff. It's just an additional sort of way to lend. You can still lend the P2P way, which I like, but you can also, as a lender, simplify it by creating your own pool. Put 100,000 in there, set your terms. Anybody can come in and lend and borrow whatever they want, as long as they meet your terms. And that's simple. Simpler, I think, but also it's unique and different. Um,
Yeah, that's a much different take on the peer-to-peer, and I definitely think it's a much simpler approach as well. Kudos on that. That's a really great and innovative way to continue that out. Um,
yeah,
what
yeah,
about the NFT Marketplace? So that's coming up as well, correct?
yeah. So I mean, I know we spoke a lot about um, how our lending platform creates, and it already does, where if you're a lender, you every time you lend, you get this NFT to represent that loan, and you can technically right now sell your loan, but you don't have I guess you
Place
don't
to
have
do
a
so?
marketplace for that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that was initially what we'll do for the NFT marketplace, focus on the lend on this lending platform. After Binance, we had a lot of discussion with GameFi, play to earn projects, and all of them will need a marketplace for their NFTs.
Ooh.
Some of them, have to build their own, as in they say they will build their own marketplace. Most of them don't want to do it because, like I said, like building this stuff is hard, and I guess their focus is more on the game and not on building the stuff that is hard. um, and when we said like, okay, and when we spoke about our platform, what we're building, we mentioned, right, that we're building this NFT marketplace. Well, a marketplace for our NFT that are loans. They were like, dude, like, why aren't you guys building, you know, general purpose NFT marketplace so we can join, because then we don't have to build our own marketplace. And and that makes sense too. So, and we were like, yeah, well, that makes sense. Well, if you guys want to use it, we'll definitely do it, because that's good for us and good for you. um, and so that's why when we came back, we tasked Raphael with building out this contract, that will do just that. Allows for any NFT to be traded, as into a marketplace for NFTs, and also our loans. So that's what Raphael is building.
Is there
Our goal
any?
there is
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask, is there any fees on the loan shop or NFT marketplace that will go back to
There,
stakers maybe?
yeah, the fee on the lending protocol is, I think you pay, no, I don't, I think I remember we pay 0.3% on the fee, on the interest. And that's only for the lenders, because that's essentially the value that we create, right? We allow them to lend using any collateral and lending any token, and they receive an interest, and we charge 0.3%. Right now that's going to the treasury. Um, and the vision for the treasury, right, is that once the treasury grows large enough, we can start to diversify
Holdings?
or we can split it. Yeah, I mean, we can split the fees up, going up also to stakers, but the biggest risk, and I think that's also plays into the event that we saw, right? That a lot of big backholders realize that their biggest risk is liquidity,
Right.
because if the liquidity dries up, they can't exit, or there's just, well, a 50% slippage if you hold 12 million tokens, right?
Right.
um, so the liquidity is important, and I think right now I think we have close to 20%, almost close to 20% of the liquidity is actually treasury. And we hope to grow that as fast as we can, because that will ensure that the liquidity pool is liquid enough for everybody to not be worried about it.
Right.
Um, so right now the lending protocol fees are going to the treasury that supplies our liquidity, and eventually we'll then, if it's large enough, or is well, I guess 500K or something like that, then we'll start to put all these fees back into the staking pool for everybody to benefit. um, and the NFT marketplace will likely be the same. We On the other hand, I mean, if it's successful enough, or if the fees are flowing in fast enough, we can also split it up right away.
Right.
So that's TBD, I guess. We'll see. But there's only two ways it could go, either to the staking pool or to the treasury, and both is for the benefit of the community.
Very cool. Um, so it looks like the last thing we have here is just some vaults. Business as usual, right?
Yeah, there's some so we're still thinking about something there. I mean, the thing I'm thinking about there is, how can we create vaults that are different from usual vaults? As in, how can we have products that are different from just the standard top dexes and stuff like that?
Right.
Because they're beefy, and there's 50 other aggregators trying to build just vaults for Pancake and vaults for ApeSwap and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so the good thing was that, so we've had a recommendation from a community member sending us or connecting us with another project who's not supported by an aggregator, um, with, I guess this would classify as an innovation product. And so combined with that discussion, I was thinking, like, instead of launching the same products that Beefy and everybody else is already launching, we could also spend our resources on the vault front, just building products that build helping other projects build vaults for them that is unique to us, right? Because nobody else is building vaults for those guys, and combine that with AMAs to introduce our community to just new projects, and you guys can make your own decisions about whether you like that project or not. And we have one project that's already in the pipeline. So Jimmy has reviewed the contract yesterday. Um, there are, and Jimmy, when he reviews, he actually goes deep into the contract, and we did find you know something in this case. We found that um, the contract does allow for the operator, in this case, the founder, uh, to mint token at will, I guess is the exact way to put it. So he can basically just mint more tokens if he wants to. It's not like us where we have set a schedule and that's it and nobody can change. In his case, he can. And we've pointed out to him that this is what we see and we don't actually like it, but we'll put a disclaimer out in our UI that this is the case. And if he's fine with us putting a disclaimer on it, we'll launch it because uh, and the reason, and we're not going to do this for every project, but I mean, before agreeing to do an AMA, I actually took a deep dive into their project, listening to their AMA, listening to their sort of interviews with the founder, and look through their updates, or basically just do my due diligence on the project, and it appears to me that this project is really legit. It's as in legit from a founder's perspective. Just base person, very cool guy, seems to be doing all the right things for his community, and so I trust. But again, it's all about math and code, right? And code is law. And if he one day
Yep.
decides to, yeah,
Yep.
and that is a possibility. And so I just want to make sure that's disclaimed. And but and he actually came back to us with the explanation as to why that's the case. And I guess we just have to take him by his word, right? And the reason for that for him was that he's building, uh, he's flexible in what he's going to build, and that's why I feel like it's sort of, I can relate to that because he, it's not a protocol that once you're done. Is the way he's building it. It's similar to how we're building it, but we're not just we're but our token is done. His token is not done. And because he wants to have the flexibility to build something and allow for him to have control over bootstrapping his liquidity, he wants control of his token emissions. And so that's his argument. Um, but anyhow, right? If we launch innovation products, it's innovation, it's high risk. I think the APY there is like 700,000, whatever. And a couple of our core community members who's been around with us for a long time is super supportive, is also a core community member of that project, and so we just want to be supportive, right? And if you guys like him, we'll do what we can to support you guys and that project, and hopefully we can do this with more projects, right? And help people out, help other projects, and help people grow, and help, and in the process help us grow. So that's on the vault. So that's what Jimmy's working on first, just to work on those. I think there are 3 vaults that we'll build for them. And we've also had other recommendations. In this case, on tranches. That's a different thing entirely because tranches is a complicated product, and the vault will be super complicated, and we still have to review if we can actually do it. But the point being, send us ideas as to specifically to BNB Chain, if you guys have any product you think worth looking at to build vaults, and if we can do it, we'll do it because we just want to build something different, and we've done that with lending. We've built something totally different, and we enjoy building something different. So send us anything you guys have, and we'll look into it and see if we can do it.
Wow, lots of great stuff here. I gotta say, so all this stuff going on, what are we gonna do after it's all done, Pat? What do you have in mind, speculatively, of course, planned after lending?
Um, that's a good question, right? So for number one, our focus now is, getting all the lending stuff out. So lending P2P is done. We'll have the lending upgrade. We'll have the NFT marketplace, and then with that, some ongoing discussions with Binance, and um, we are building something on the side that is going to be pretty cool for future finance. It's We can't actually say it yet, but there will be something totally different coming out that will be really good for the project. Because that also relates to our discussion with finance as well. So I don't want to say it and in the end not being able to do it or something like that and disappoint you guys. So I just there are some things happening, but also you guys have the roadmap, right? So we're still working towards that roadmap. The bridge aggregator is getting built this week. Contract is done. Jimmy's working on the UI, and then the finance lab product, which we were thinking that different, again going back to a different vault structure. That vampire vault is something I also look forward to, especially if we can find other projects that are Ponzi's that we can benefit from.
Hmm.
That'd be good. Um, but yeah, so we're still building a lot of stuff with, and I know a lot of you guys are concerned, and now I'm, I guess going to the last, I guess the last topic here, about that 12 million feet dump happened 2 days ago. Um, and the concern was, do we have enough funds to keep going, right? And the answer to that is yes, because right after that dump, I had an emergency call with Jimmy. We discussed what this means for us, and so the decision came that, okay, we have these many cake that we have accumulated for those cake auctions, which we pulled into the vaults, and they have grown quite a bit. And so we decided, okay, that would create no impact to feed. So that's one way to raise funds. So we sold that, and then we had to sell some more feed because um, we have to make sure that there's enough funds in terms of runway to maintain our dev team.
Hmm.
And so we sold a couple more of that. So that's done. So we won't be selling any more feed, at least for the next 3 to 4 months, because that's how much runway we've insured with stables. We have a lot more feed in the treasury, which we don't have to sell because we have at least 4 months going for that. And if we do, it'll be in 4 months. Um, and we have 4 months to keep building and create some more value. And we aim to keep building, and you know we're not at risk. I wouldn't say we're at risk, and even at this price, or even if we go, whatever happens, um, the team is still super committed to this. We're still building. We're still enjoying building cool things like lending, um, just building something different, right? And we really appreciate your support and how you guys reacted to all that. Like that was super. Um, I really am super grateful for how you guys reacted to that, because it could have gone a lot differently. And if it was any other community, I'm pretty sure it would have gone a lot differently as to the reaction of the community on something that dramatic. But you guys were great and super supportive, and we really appreciate it, because I'm sure it was a shock for everybody, and it was a shock for us. And you and I were on a call when it happened. We weren't sure how to react, like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that was
Uh,
bad.
yeah. So we had to end the call early because I wasn't in my right mind right there to like discuss updates, because I wasn't sure what the hell is going on, and the community was blowing up. So but yeah, we're 2 days later, I think we've come out of it stronger as a community, and we've seen how committed you guys are. and we're committed to it. We'll continue to build and create value. And I really hope you guys enjoy the lending as well once it's released, because it's really useful. And just lend your stables, or uh, borrow some stables using your feed. And I'm sure there will be people lending some stables with your feed collaterals. If you have any other token, you can list them and start borrowing or lending with them. Just because really we've built this for you, right? And we hope you enjoy it and utilize it, because it's really, you can't get this anywhere else, and it's really useful.
Yeah, lending is an incredibly powerful tool that really sets Feeder Finance apart. And yeah, I can't wait for the community to get their hands on it. I've seen it, I've used it. It's beautiful and it works incredibly well. I can't wait to see what this loan shop is too. That's going to be super exciting. Um, but I believe that is all we have for you this week, folks. Unless you have any last minute thoughts there, Pat.
No, again, thanks everybody, and appreciate all your support. And we'll see you guys in the community.
Yeah, we will see you guys around. If you made it this far, thank you for tuning in. You're a true feeder, and Pat and I will be back at it again probably next week, right?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you then, guys. Take care. Bye bye.